Psychology is basically the study of human mind. So psychology is more associated to the humans and the feelings and emotions. Concepts of psychology, they aid you, they help you to understand your patterns. You're learning about concepts of psychology. It will give you a perspective of what, why, how. Regulation helps you to know when to stop. If you've heard of Howard Gardner, he's always promoted emotional intelligence. We need that support, that insight, that clarity that would help us to do better.
Hello, this is Prajakta. Today I'm with a very special person, a psychologist, a counselor, and a professor who helps people understand their minds, solve their problems for the better life. So let's have this meaningful conversation with her over here, and that too full of explanation, real understanding, and powerful advice. So let's welcome Jeeya Khatri ma'am to the show. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
So, I would like to know what is the difference between psychiatry and psychology?
Yeah, so a lot of people think it's the same thing. Sometimes
Yeah.
they use the terms synonymously, that means they interchange it. Yeah, but actually, they are two different fields, they overlap at points. Psychology is basically the study of human mind from the point of view of therapy, counseling, and the human behavior and patterns.
Okay.
From where do they stem? What happens? It's also a lot of emotions that come into picture when you talk about psychology. While psychiatry, it's the medical aspect of studying the human mind. It's more related to diagnosis, treatments, neurology that comes into picture here. And that's the main difference. So psychology is more associated to the humans and the feelings and emotions, whereas psychiatry is more of the medical perspective to it. Medication
Okay.
comes in from psychiatry,
Psychiatrist.
not in
Okay.
psychology.
The psychology comes in with communicating, counseling,
Right, therapy.
therapy, and all
Correct.
these things comes into psychology.
Correct.
Whereas in psychiatrist, as you said, that's completely into a medical thing where all
Correct.
treatments comes in place.
Correct. And usually it should be a combination of both. So when someone is on medication, they should also take therapy. And sometimes if the severity is more, only therapy doesn't work, then you need the support of psychiatry.
Psychiatry.
Yeah, it's a combination that works in a healthy way. You need to know how to balance it, how to wean it off.
Great.
Yeah.
So how can a human person, how can he know whether I have to go to a psychology who will counsel my human mind, or whether I need a medical treatment right now?
Okay, so it's very important to understand that when you talk about it from emotional perspective, initially you can take the support of psychology or a psychologist or a therapist when it's not disrupting your life too much. Okay, you're functional and you've not completely gone off your game, but you need the emotional support, you can start looking at a psychologist. But in case you're really having slightly deeper issues, like for example you're not able to sleep at all, or you're not able to function in the normal, the term is again something that needs elaboration, but in your own normal way of functioning, if you're slightly off that and you know that this is affecting you, then you need to approach a psychiatrist where the medication would help you. Again, it's not only about the medication or only about therapy, it needs to be used very consciously. And the psychologist and the psychiatrist, they will also guide you.
Very true.
So sometimes it's not only you who decides, it's also they who guide you correctly as to what is the requirement.
Great. Okay. Can you tell us what you got interested in? I mean, this psychology. How you got into?
So why I got interested in psychology was because of the human behavior that I saw around. Of course, you will see everybody behave in certain patterns. They'll behave differently. Sometimes you expect something and that doesn't happen that way. This has been something that I've always thought of. And my early exposure to work helped me to understand that no, this has more deeper meaning and I should be looking at it further. I should know from where it stems, what are these concepts and how are they applied to life. Sometimes you can judge and predict people's behavior, and sometimes you can't. And I could do both. Sometimes what I would think of, things would exactly go that way. Sometimes what I thought of, people would never respond in that way. So when I started seeing these gaps, I started realizing that I need to know more about this. And
Wow,
that's where I
amazing.
started reading a lot about psychology. I started studying psychology. I picked it up, and then I've moved ahead and made a career in it.
Was there a moment where you choose this path? Any moment?
I don't remember a particular moment, but I clearly remember how, when I picked up the field of psychology, my classroom textbook studies could be very easily related to what was actually happening outside. So I could join the dots very well. And that is something that helped me to understand that no, this is it. This is my
Wow.
point where I would want to make a career in this, because for the other subjects I was not able to see a lot of practical application. This subject, I had practicals everywhere. So that's something
Right.
that really intrigued me. There are so many times that the concepts that were taught in class, I could see real life situations that were happening, and how the theory and the real world around us just merges together.
Yeah,
Mental
many
health.
people still think psychology is only for the people with mental health challenges. So, what would you say on that?
Actually, that's not the case. And this is one reason that is very important for people to understand why we're not able to use psychology well. Yes, sometimes the mental health challenges are severe, and then you
Yeah.
can clearly see that they need attention. But otherwise, there are many points during our course of life where we need that support, that insight, that clarity that would help us to do better. So it's not at all about someone who's facing depression, or someone who's facing bipolar disorder, or someone who's having schizophrenia. It's also when sometimes you're struggling with relationships, sometimes you're struggling to answer the questions like, who am I, and what do I really want to do in life? What do I want from life?
Right.
What do I want from myself sometimes? These are also questions that they might not come up very clearly, and you might not clearly understand that you need help for them, but that's also something you need help for. It
Very
helps you
true.
to smoothly function in your life, it helps you to enjoy your life better.
Right.
Sometimes you set goals and you don't understand why you're setting goals.
Very
Sometimes
true.
you achieve goals and you don't know what to do
What to
next.
do
Have you
next?
noticed that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Many times you'll see people who'll want one thing, when they'll get it, they'll not know what to do with it, and then want another.
We're expecting as well. That's the thing.
So, for all this, concepts of psychology, they aid you, they help you to understand your patterns, they help you to give a name to what you're really going through. And hence, it's not about someone who only has mental health challenges,
Challenges.
it's about the regular struggles that you have also. See, in
Right.
psychology, there are many forms. There's counseling psychology, there's clinical psychology, and many others.
Yeah.
So, what we are discussing, there are certain aspects, like I mentioned, depression, bipolar, and etc. They fall under clinical aspects. And there are also other aspects that we struggle with on day-to-day basis that falls under counseling psychology. So this is the difference, and we need to know when to pick the right one and take support for the right one.
How would you explain the broader purpose of psychology to a lay person?
Imagine that you are amateur cook. That means you've not really structured your cooking, but you're just experimenting with cooking. You've moved away from home, and now you're in a hostel or somewhere, and then over time with friends, you're sometimes trying a dish.
Okay.
Okay. Suddenly you've experimented and made something nice, and that's become super hit. And over a couple of months, or over a period of time, you realize that there is a dish called so and so that you've prepared. Now that will give you so much of clarity. Okay, it will really help you to understand, okay, अच्छा ये तो मैंने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था, पर इसका नाम ये है, इसका ओरिजिन ये है, ये
right.
इस रीजन में बनता है, ये इस वजह से बनता है, या ये इस फॉर्म में या इस सेलिब्रेशन के टाइम पे बनता है. ऑल दैट विल गिव यू अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट. इट विल एड वैल्यू.
Very
In the
true.
same way, when you're learning about concepts of psychology, it will give you a perspective of what, why, how. Sometimes we randomly do things to protect ourselves. Have you noticed that? We have random patterns.
true.
Like, for example, you'll see people protecting themselves by distancing themselves from someone. Right?
Very true, yeah.
Someone has hurt you, you will distance yourself from them, and you will build
Take
a wall.
time, yeah.
Right? But if I tell you that this is not only you who does it, one, and secondly, there's a term for it.
Oh my god.
Right?
Okay.
So there's a term for it. The moment you'll realize that, you would want to really know what are the other forms. Does that make sense or not? Are you doing too much of it? Is it harming you? And so you'll automatically want to regulate it.
This is really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
Let me give you one more example here. Because we've spoken about why would a layman want to have this knowledge of psychology, let me give you an example of denial. Okay?
Okay.
I'm sure you must have heard this term called denial. Denial means not being able to see what's right in front of you. Now remember, this is not acting. This is not you acting as if you're not able to see a behavior pattern. This is not you avoiding something. This is something that you really can't see. Let me give you an example here. Let's take A and B. A and B are special friends. Okay? And A likes B a lot. A is in love with B, but B not so much.
Okay.
B is in the relationship, but not too much. And A's friends constantly tell A that, listen, I think you're overindulging. Listen, I think you're overgiving. B is not that involved. But A is like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
That's not the case. And trust me, A cannot see it. So sometimes you'll see individuals who'd not be loyal back in a relationship. Okay? And let's assume B is not loyal in return to A. Now, A is not able to see it really, but people around A will
Can see
tell
them.
him or tell her that, see, something is fishy, something is not right, something is amiss. And A is in a complete denial mode. A cannot see the reality. Hence, you will notice that later on, once there's a breakup or once there's a distance, A will tell, okay, oh, why I couldn't see it, or how could I not, how could I not see something so close to me? But that's because you're in the denial mode. It's a defense mechanism. When you want to be involved, you want to give 100%, and you cannot see the flaws or mistakes or the errors that the person is doing. So this information really helps you, right?
And this is like something which connects for an every individual in day-to-day activity as well.
Yeah.
Because this denial situation, I guess, amongst all individuals, we can say.
It can
it's
be
pretty-
amongst all individuals.
Yeah.
It can be in a lot of relationships.
Yes.
So it's not only about when you are involved with someone, it can also be when you're friends with someone. It can also be in a situation when you're in a workspace and you're overgiving.
Yes, overgiving.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's something which comes in your personal, in your professional, you can say, day-to-day activity itself. Again.
Yes, yes.
This denial situation. This was
Yes.
something which we got to know today. I mean,
The surroundings, the environment, there are a lot of factors that affect a particular individual. For example, this concept is called nature versus nurture. Okay, this concept is called nature versus nurture, in which the nature is the genetic setup. Okay, it's what's been gifted to you by nature. And it's not only about your eye color, or it's not only about your height that has been gifted to you via genetics. It's also your behavior patterns. It's also your emotional set that comes. Okay, this all is also given to you by genetics at a point of time. But this is not the only part that controls it. There's nurture.
Nurture them.
Nurturing is the environment. So the environment has a lot of aspects like the parenting,
Is in
yes,
place.
the schooling,
Very true.
the peers and friends around you,
Very true.
the circumstances you're living in.
Hmm.
All this together has an impact which is called the nurturing.
Hmm.
And you are a product of nature versus nurture,
Nurture.
and not nature and nurture, because you don't know which part is contributing how much and what's going to be the result. So, if
Very
I'd want
true.
to just explain this concept a little further,
Mm-hmm.
imagine there are two siblings who are growing up in the exact same environment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with a similar genetic setup.
Okay.
Still, their personalities will be
Completely
different. They'll
different.
be
Yeah.
responding to things in a different way. It's because it's a versus. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
which part is activated at what point of time. You don't know what triggers an individual at what point of time, and how the combination works. That's why it's nature versus nurture. And that also works in the different defense mechanisms that we use. So, for example, because we've picked up denial, if we are using defense mechanism of denial, it can be due to varied reasons. It can be due to the environment, it can be
Okay.
due to your upbringing, it can be due to the genetic setup that you have, or the nature that's been given to you. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes denial can simply be because you've seen your parents be in the denial mode. They cannot see
They cannot see.
problems. They feel that everything is fine. Have you seen that
Right,
sometimes?
right, right.
You tell them, you nudge them that no, something is wrong. But they're like, no, but what? Just focus on your studies. Don't roam with
Actually,
such friends. Okay? Or don't waste your time on the phone. So they're
very
completely in
true.
a denial mode sometimes, when they can see
Yeah,
actually that no, things are not right. They're not able to accept it because of
that
such things. And
happens.
then that
That
waters down to
happens.
us as well. Um, Many times I have heard people say that I am not going to do what my parents did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This term is like recently I've heard a number of kids also saying this as well, that मेरे mom dad ने जो भी किया है I don't want to repeat that again. Like why what
And
this
what if I
comes
tell
in?
you that many times unconsciously you'll repeat the same pattern?
How?
So, though you might verbally say
Hmm.
that I wouldn't want to repeat the mistake of my parents,
Yes.
you would somehow end up doing that. I'm not telling you that happens always, okay?
Hmm.
But there is a large chance that you'd end up doing the exact thing, because that's the pattern you've observed and you don't know otherwise. So, again, let me give this in the form of an example. Imagine you want to go from point A to point B.
Hmm.
Okay, you want to go from point A to point B, and you've been using the route daily.
Hmm.
Daily you go from point A to point B using the same path, to and fro, and then one day you say that no, no, this path is not right, and when I would want to use the path on my own next time, I'll not use this path. Okay, but then when the situation arises,
Yes.
you don't know the other paths. You don't know C, D, E, and where they lead to.
Very true.
So the simplest form is, you know A to B in this way, so you go A to B in that exact way.
Amazing.
Unless and until you consciously put in an effort, you understand why that pattern has formed, you work on it, and every time there's a situation, you'd want to consciously use another path. And that's very much possible. But I'm just trying to give an insight of
Amazing.
how it happens.
Yeah.
Huh?
So you will work a lot with college students and working professionals. So how you can relate this basic knowledge of psychology to them?
See, the knowledge of psychology can literally be a game changer sometimes. The first thing that it helps you with is better self awareness. You're able to understand so many patterns about yourself. And when you have this self understanding, it becomes easier for you to navigate in certain ways. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Okay. The second thing is that it helps you to regulate better. Basically, regulate is how much. For example, regulation helps you to know when to stop.
Okay.
If you've ever told someone that, listen, I have anger issues, huh? And you will have to handle it. This is the way I am. I can't help it. This doesn't give you the right to burst out with anger tantrums every time just because you're aware.
Very true.
You get it?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
It's unfair. When you're aware, you need to regulate it. You need to know how much, where, when. You also need to know when to stop. Sometimes, yes, you cannot completely structure yourself, and you can't have a flow all the time. But sometimes you know that now you've fallen off the wagon, you need to get back on. So regulation is something that helps you to, lead your life in a better way. The next thing, it makes your relationships better. Many times people struggle with their relationships. They don't understand the perspective of the other person. Sometimes they overindulge, sometimes they don't set boundaries correctly. So when you have this knowledge of psychology, it helps you to set these boundaries. It helps you to understand others. It helps you to empathize in the right way. All this it just adds so much value. Another thing that can really help you when you know that, or you have the knowledge of psychology, is that it helps you to get ahead in your career. Because one, you get a perspective of how people are, how the workplace is, how much you need to cooperate, how much of social skills are required. Also, stuff like you handling your emotional intelligence at work in a better way. Sometimes you don't know when it's personal and when it needs to be kept professional. A little bit of a change in a tone and people can't take it correctly. So all this really helps you to get ahead in your career as well. It helps you to succeed somewhere. And if you've heard of Howard Gardner, he's always promoted emotional intelligence. He has clearly stated that majority of your workplace success depends on emotional intelligence, not only IQ. He has specified this right throughout. So just imagine that when you're equipped with stuff which is related to emotional intelligence, it would definitely be a game changer for you at your workplace.
How they can know that this is something which is right, wrong, and
Okay,
my
so
behavior is not that great, or my behavior, I should change that behavior. How will that person understand?
the first thing is that it's not about right or wrong behavior, it's about behavior that works well. In a workplace setting, you need to understand that one, you need to understand what are the common goals. Okay. And second, you need to understand that there'll be different kind of people
Okay.
in the team. You
Yeah,
cannot have like the same structure in a
Right.
team. Each person in a team will be different.
Very true.
Correct? So when you're aware of this, at the same time you need to be aware of what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how that needs to be handled. How you need to fit in well but yet have or contribute in a different way. So this is like a balance. And if I would want to elaborate on EQ and how it can contribute, there are the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence
Okay.
given by Howard Gardner. 1, self-awareness.
Okay.
2, self-regulation. 3, empathy. 4, social skills. And 5, motivation. So you will see
comes
that
again,
just
right.
these terms can give you so much of insight. Majority of the times people feel that emotional intelligence is about being strong.
Yeah, there are people saying this.
Yeah, yeah. It's not only about being strong. It's like it's a very tunnel vision, no? You can't be only emotionally strong. You will be emotionally weak at a certain point of time. You will be vulnerable at a certain point of time. When is your EQ high? Is when you're able to recognize it. Correct? When you're able to recognize that, yes, this is my weaker moment, or this is the area where I really need to pay attention to, or this is what I'm feeling. Literally that much. Do you know so many people don't even know what they feel? Yeah, and I know it might sound so bizarre, no? It can sound so
Yeah.
bizarre that I know what I feel and I can easily articulate what I'm feeling. Actually, that's not the case. If you literally go to see the list of emotions, there are so many
Many.
emotions.
Yeah.
As per my understanding, as of date, there are roughly 340 plus emotions, and new emotions are being added on daily basis because of the language that the Gen Z uses. Yeah, there's something that's known as hangry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all
Recent term.
new emotions that are coming in. Now, the aim is not to know the complete vocabulary. My aim is to tell you that something that you don't know to name, you'll never be able to tame. Like, for example, when you don't know that you're feeling jealous, how will you handle it?
Very difficult. Yeah.
You'll, majority of the times, feelings like jealousy or feelings like anger, resentment especially, they are all covered feelings. People don't talk about them. Like, you will not openly sit and tell someone that, listen, I'm so jealous of this person. Yeah, you might tell it to a friend, or you might sometimes tell a friend that, listen, I'm so jealous of you, you're looking amazing, or something like that. But you would not keep voicing out something like that. But this is a common feeling. When you can't name that you're feeling jealous, how will you be able to handle it? You'll just
Right,
behave in a
right.
certain way that will make someone feel cold. Or you'll cover up jealousy by arrogance. Like, for example, sometimes you feel uncomfortable about someone having their way.
So, tell us about psychology courses which you offer.
So, there are many courses that we offer, but one of the most important and trending courses is the course which is Introduction to the course of Psychology, where you
Okay.
get to learn beautiful theories which
Okay.
have really changed courses of life.
Okay.
Yeah. So this course is basically a course that's designed to help individuals explore aspects of psychology in very simple ways. Simple yet very intriguing. You'll be able to understand, one, how the course is actually a reflection of the day to day life that we go through. Yes,
Okay.
so you'll be able to link it. Two, it will also start giving you insights about how you can do better in your career or your workplace. And three, if you would want to grow in life, specifically this course is really going to help you. It's going to help you to be a better person, it's going to help you with your relationships, and it's definitely going to help you with your career growth as well. These
Right.
courses are like a door opening to you looking at deep knowledge of life coaching, career counseling, parenting
Parenting.
coach.
Yeah.
So, all these have their basis sometimes in the simplest form of psychology. And this course can help you with that.
Good to hear the offers as well. But who all can take these courses?
So, actually, of course, anybody who's interested in the subject of psychology can pick up this course. But majority of the times, individuals who have had this immense love for psychology but have not got the opportunity to study it.
Okay.
They've made their career sometimes, but now they're looking for a second opportunity to make their career. This is a great course for them. If you see people who are in their 40s, in their 50s, and who would want to restart their careers, or who would want to divert their careers into the field of psychology, they can definitely look at picking up these courses. It would really add a lot of value to them. That's one.
Okay.
Then the second part of people who can pick up these courses is people who are working with kids, or people who are working, who are into human resources. They are people who can pick up these courses because this would add value to them. This would add value to the work they do. Of course,
Okay.
individuals who are in their 20s and 30s, who would want to restructure their life, or who would want to pay more attention to the aspects of self growth and understand why the certain patterns are being formed, they can pick up these courses that would
Okay.
add value to them.
Yeah. So there's no essay like age specific
Right,
criteria in
right,
this.
right.
As you said that in 40s also obviously we can restart the career.
Yes.
From 20s again, in case if someone wants to build their career, he or she also can
Yeah.
take these
So many
courses.
times we have people approaching us post their kids have gone off to college, or post they retiring, because they would want to reinvent themselves, or
Right.
figure out what they would want to do with their lives again. And this is something that has been the highlight of this course. So a
Great.
lot of times we have individuals who come to us because they would want to restart their careers in the field of psychology somewhere. And they
Right.
would want this as the starting point so that they get a lot of clarity and then move ahead from there in their journeys.
Eventually, even after being a parent, maybe parents would be approaching for parenting psychology or child
Right,
psychology.
right.
So maybe they can take those courses related to that.
Correct. In
Right.
fact, sometimes parents, they don't only need to understand parenting or child psychology. Sometimes they need to understand their own patterns.
Right. Very true.
They don't need to only nurture a child, they need to nurture themselves sometimes. And this course is a great insight to that as well. You understand why do you behave a certain way. Sometimes you don't get along with your spouse on the upbringing of your child, but why that happens. Sometimes you're not, sometimes you know you're not supposed to do a certain thing, but you still end up
Right.
doing that. So that all is basically related to you, and this course will help you to get better insights and deeper understanding of yourself. Along with that, it will help you to apply it to the world.
Who should be a target audience of your, I mean, taking these courses, who should be the target audience?
So basically, there's no target audience as such, but it's anybody who has been in love with this subject. You know, sometimes you miss on to opportunities in your life because of
Yes.
work, career, finances, family responsibilities.
Right.
Sometimes you really wanted to study something, but you didn't get the opportunity. And you and I both know that the applications of this subject are immense.
Right.
So if you have this deep feeling of wanting to learn a subject, you've had this love for psychology, this course is for you.
Okay. Great.
If you are someone who is retired and is looking to restart their careers in different ways, you know, many times when you've completed a career in a particular sector, life has given you experiences, you have so much information, and you would want to apply it in different forms. This course is for you then. Yeah, you'd be able,
Great.
this would take your second career to the next level. So
Very
that's
true.
something that can be done. And of course, if you've taken a break in your career, so whether it's for children or whether it's for moving abroad or for whatever reason, this is a great opportunity for them as well. If you have taken a
To
break,
start again.
then to get back to careers, and that little interest in psychology would help you to move ahead in this field.
So you often speak about personality and behavior patterns. So how you can relate this to better relationships? Like what should be the understanding for better relationships?
So, you know, there's a lot you can do for bettering your relationships. But if I'd want to see the top three things, the first one is to understand how you communicate. Your communication has to be really good. And it doesn't mean that you don't fight or you don't argue in your relationships, but it means you understand the language. Right? So that's the first thing that you need to keep in mind if you want to better your relationships. Understand how you communicate. Yes. The second thing that I would want to highlight would be setting clear boundaries. Now, it doesn't mean rigid boundaries, it means clear boundaries. Understanding how to care for the other while caring for yourself, not
Okay.
overdoing it in any way. So, that's the second thing you need to keep in mind. Be very clear and have guilt free boundaries. Sometimes we're very guilty in any way, in any form of overdoing something or not doing anything. So that's the second thing that you need to keep in mind if you would really want to better your relationships. And lastly, it would definitely be understanding your patterns and breaking free of them.
Okay.
So basically, you'll have to know what is the way of stepping away from your patterns and rebuilding them and reforming new patterns which are healthy in nature. So,
Okay.
for that, if you observe yourself, you understand what's quite right and what's quite wrong in your relationship, pick up and build on it, understand what triggers you, that would lead to better, healthier patterns that would aid the relationship to do better.
Words like toxic, gaslighting, and narcissist are like used frequently a lot on
Yeah.
online. So is these words used in a correct way?
Yes, so you're right. There's a lot of use
Yeah.
of these words like being a narcissist, or
Yeah.
the term gaslighting, or the term even, if you'll see,
Toxic.
toxic
Okay.
depression. Toxic is a term that's used at every drop nowadays.
Yeah.
But actually, if you go to see, it's slightly overused. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have to understand the context in which you're using it. So, for example, if someone in a relationship needs a little space to feel better and get back after a fight or after a argument, then that's not toxic silence. That's someone taking a little bit of space. When would it be toxic? When someone is having long term gaps in communication, someone doesn't want to come back, someone wants to continuously make you feel bad. That is something that would be toxic. But when someone would want a little bit of space to
That is not
rethink
toxic.
themselves,
Right.
understand the situation, get a hold on themselves, and then come back to a conversation, that doesn't fall under the toxic category. So overusing of these terms is out of context and not helpful anyway.
Right. Because these words are like recently we have heard a lot on social media. So that was only reason this was a curiosity thing.
Yeah.
How can someone tell the difference between real psychology advice and random social media tips?
Yeah. So a lot of real psychology advice is backed up. It's backed up through theories, through experiments, research papers, and of course, it might sound a little boring, but it has real life applications. The random tips, they are not thought through. They are just there temporarily to make someone feel good, like a quick fix. And yes, sometimes you'll feel that the quick fixes are working, but in the long term they are not solutions. So if you're looking at real psychology advice, remember, it should be backed up well. It should be well thought. You need to have a clear line of thought where you understand the pros and cons, understand from where it's stemming, and then pick it up and move ahead. Just because it's an advice that sounds good, it might not necessarily be effective. Whenever you receive a tip from social media or from your surroundings, try to understand and analyze it, whether it works for you.
Right.
If it works for you, try to pick it up, but don't depend on it too much unless and until you're quite sure that it's just going to do very well for you. Till then, take your time. Also, look at the alternatives. Pay attention to what are the counter advices given for the same thing.
Very
Pick
true.
and choose and be aware of it. Don't just pick it up and apply it. Try to analyze it and put your thought to it. Just because it's trending or you're hearing it being told in a very crisp way, it doesn't mean it needs to be picked up and used for you.
Use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is not like a copy paste. It needs to be customized. You need to understand whether it works for you. And I think everybody is intelligent enough to understand how it can impact them negatively as well. Everything need not be
Very true.
given in black and
Yeah.
white. So yeah.
So for that, every individual should analyze. Like
Yes.
every individual should analyze, and then what should be taken further or what should be taken care of should
Correct.
be
You have
done.
to weigh it
Nice.
well before just
Right.
picking up an advice and applying it.
Very true.
Also, many times, no, when we pick up these social media advices or tips, they are partially there. There's a
Yeah.
complete picture to it. So you have to also understand what is the complete picture and then apply it, and not that partial advice that's been given by someone on some context or some basis, or sometimes only on some experience. It doesn't even have
Yes.
a lot of backing to it.
So for someone who's interested and unsure, what would you say to them to learning psychology or joining these courses?
See, if you're interested but unsure, it's very important for you to explore. You must explore and understand whether it's a cup of tea for you. And that happens only when you learn more about it. In fact, if you are someone who is not sure and would want to, and has keen interest in it, it's very important for you to make it a point that you explore this area, because everybody doesn't get an opportunity to satiate their interests. Everybody doesn't get an opportunity to make the most if they are interested in something. So if they are interested, then they should be exploring it before deciding that they wouldn't want to go ahead with it. The first step actually should be going ahead and exploring it and making the most of an opportunity.
And this is like something जो unsure है, जो interested है, उनके लिए okay. But what if people have to come to the course or
Okay.
learn about psychology?
Okay, so if there is someone who's very keen on it, they need to know that this is a beautiful journey.
Okay.
This is a
Yeah.
journey where you discover so many facets, you understand so many concepts, you explore different areas, and it's a beautiful journey where you will get so many insights, and these insights are the things that build you up. So it's not about reading a book, or it's not about reading a research paper. In fact, it's about the insights that you collect from time to time that help you to develop and grow. And so this is something that's important, that this course is not study and learn course, it's a journey of exploration.
So, thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, we were pleased for this podcast today. This information is really very helpful. Yes, we got to know n number of things related to psychology, why that is important, for whom that is important. There are n number of things which we covered up today. And again, as discussed, this is a vast topic, so we will be coming up with a number of things. So, I really thank you for giving us so much time and so much information about the same.
Most welcome. The pleasure was all mine. I'm looking forward to more interactions.
Thank you so much.